Would y'all believe me if I said that this was crochet braids? Yes, human hair crochet braids. I was sent 5 packs of kinky curly crochet bundles in 18 inches from QVR Hair in the color natural, and each pack came with a crochet hook. Now let's get into the hair. The quality and luster on these bundles are amazing. And what's really cool about this hair is that each strand is connected with a thin but sturdy piece of thread that helps lock the hair into place, which means no slipping and sliding, and it makes this install super DIY friendly. I did wash the bundles, and that really brought the curls to life. After I washed them, I just kind of laid them out and let them air dry when I was ready to install. Now fast forward, let's get into the braiding of my hair. I didn't do a super intricate braid pattern or anything. I just knew I wanted a side part, so I just did my parting, and then I just connected the braids going downwards from my parted braids. And of course, if you're used to my videos, you know I'm going to install it on a mesh cap. It's not really necessary, but it's just something that I feel the need to do when I do my crochet installs. So this hair was so easy to install, like, because they're human hair, you know, I was a little leery because human hair has the tendency to like slip and slide when you're installing it, and that's kind of why I stray away from human hair crochet, because it doesn't really give what I need it to give. But this hair, it was so easy to install. One single knot helped lock it into place, and the fact that I had on a mesh cap, that strand is really not going nowhere. So I did this all around my head. I took each individual strand and then I just knotted each one with a single knot. Now you can do a double knot, but if you want to reuse this hair, which this hair is reusable, but we gonna get into that later. But I do suggest that if you want to have an easier removal process, doing only one knot as opposed to 2 will make it so much easier. But this hair is already super full. Like, as you can see, I only have one bundle in my head, and it could be a little hefty ponytail, which I love.
I'm gonna come and speak really quick, but I was installing them individually one by one, and then I just realized, like, if I just combine them, and I'm gonna double and triple some just to make it a little fuller, because I have a tiny head and I already feel like I'm not gonna use all 5 bundles, and I'm really trying to use all 5 bundles because I want it to be really thick. But I am going to double up a few of the pieces, and it's going to work because I've already tried it once. You would just install it the same way. You're just gonna push both pieces through like so. You push both pieces through, and you're just gonna knot it. You could do it twice, but I'm gonna do it twice. And yeah, this is gonna allow me to fit more hair in my head because I'm already like a bundle and a half in, and I'm like halfway through. So we gotta start fitting more hair in here.
So once I decided to start doubling and tripling a couple of the strands, not a couple, like most of the strands, as I got towards the top, it started looking at the density that I needed it to be. Like, y'all know I love me some big hair, so doubling it is definitely recommended if you like that look. So at this point, I am just gonna show y'all how easy it is to remove. Like I already said, this hair is reusable. So this is me just grabbing it at the knot and just pulling the hair out from the other end, and it literally just slips right out. Like, you can do this and probably have it removed in probably less than an hour easily. So this is where things get a little bit interesting. I was kind of on a learning curve trying to figure out how to get my part to look as natural as possible. So I kind of did a similar method as I would with any synthetic hair that I've installed. I just pull one side of the strand to the front, and then I push it through the braid, and then I pull the other strand out to kind of cover that front of that braid. Now this is my first time working with like a human hair micro link type of vibe, so honestly, I did have to try and fail a couple of times before I figured out the best method that is going to allow me to hide my braids. So with synthetic hair, you can kind of just, push it through, pull a single strand in front of the braid, and then boom, the knots are hidden. Now I can kind of do something similar with this, but I kind of was struggling to figure out if I should knot the hair before I pulled one end through. And then when I tried to do that, the mesh cap was kind of getting in the way and it was causing it to tangle. And it just required me, trying a couple of times. And that's okay. Like, it is okay if you don't get it the first time. But you know, after the 400 millionth time of me attempting to do this method, I finally got it. I decided to just knot the strand as I usually would, and then once it was knotted, I just pulled out one side of the strand and then I pulled it in front of my cornrow. I know I'm probably not explaining it the best way, but you know, just look at what I'm doing. I am going to speed it up a little bit here because once I got in the swing of it, it became a lot easier to do. Like, I could already see the braid kind of becoming more and more invisible. And I'm just putting this final knot how I did on the right side cornrow of my part. I'm going to do that on the left side just to kind of connect the mesh cap and finish off that illusion braid. And as you can see, the knots are hidden, which was priority. That's the only thing I really cared about achieving. So I'm going to do that same method that I did along the sides. I'm going to do it at my part. So usually with my synthetic installs, around this point, I would cut my mesh cap at the part and then do my knotless parting. But I decided for this install, for some reason, to leave the mesh cap in and then cut it after. And in retrospect, I wish I probably would have cut the mesh cap beforehand, because I feel like that allows the hair to kind of lay closer onto my cornrow, making it look natural. It still looks really natural, but I don't know, in my mind I feel like if I cut the cap beforehand, that it would just kind of lay a little bit better. So, you know, just a little tip, if you are doing it on a mesh cap, I do recommend cutting the cap before you do your part. And I think what I love the most about this installation method is that it has low tension to no tension, as you probably would experience with the sew-in. Probably be a little tight, a little snug, but this is just so lightweight. I feel like there's literally nothing on my head, and that 10 out of 10 for someone that already has fine hair and doesn't like extra stress and strain on their scalp. Yeah, this was definitely a game changer for sure. So right now I'm just going to go through and shape up the hair. I don't want to cut the length too much, but I just kind of want to add a little bit of face framing layers. I did kind of think about cutting it because it is 18 inches. I kind of wanted it around 16, but I was like, nah, I'm going to just let it be. And I don't want to add too many layers because I do plan on reusing these strands and I'm not going to remember the placement of all of the hair. So right here I'm just going through and cutting the mesh cap at the part, which as you can see I'm kind of struggling a little bit, which is kind of why I recommended you cutting the cap before you did the parting, but it's fine. And then as I would with my synthetic installs, I take a light hand. I'm not going to be as hard and aggressive as I would be with synthetic hair, but with a light hand I'm going to kind of back comb and tease and thin it out in the front just to create a little bit of frizz at the part and make it look a little bit more natural. I'm going to alternate between a teasing comb, my hard bristled brush, and some scissors just to create that look that I needed. So after I add in a little bit of layers, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, yeah, this is starting to give. I just need to figure out what to do with my edges because I did want to leave them out because I am trying to rehabilitate them. So any style or any chance that I can get to leave my edges out, I will. So I will probably end up just slicking them back with a little beeswax and calling it a day. And I did go ahead and spritz it with a little water and tease the roots a little bit more just to give that look that I was going for. But yeah, this is it, y'all. Like, it's giving sew-in, tension free, easy breezy, beautiful. Like, I'm obsessed with this. I swear you can't beat crochet every time, period.